Right.
David.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's extremely exciting because even though it's been since 97 distilling only, and by the way, that tells me that, what is it, late 2011, it's 14 years, close to 14 years.
Yeah.
I don't see any 14 years old Ardbeg. You're going to have to respond.
No.
We something's coming up.
We don't have any plans actually to do sort of older A statement Ardbegs, because what's interesting is we were forced by necessity for many years to not do A statement Ardbegs because we didn't have any older stock, and we've got into an understanding of Ardbeg to produce different flavor profiles.
Like this alligator?
Alligator, Corvette, and Ugadal. None of them have A statements. They're all fantastic flavor profile Ardbegs that win awards. Why do we need to do A statements? Seriously, tell me, why?
So
if you love the whiskey, let's start being creative. So Ugadal, let's think about it this way. Ardbeg, there's not much of any Ardbeg, but what we do have a little bit more of is that 10-year-old style now, because since 97, 98, 10 years later, and a few years, there's a little bit more of that coming on stream now. So each one of these three Ardbegs we're going to try now use as their base Ardbeg 10, but unlike Glenmorangie, we're not extra maturing it. We are using that Ardbeg 10 style, combining it with another secondary wholly matured Ardbeg style together to create the finished assemblage, let's say, flavor profile. So with Ugadal, we're using a large amount of Ardbeg 10 style. The flavor is modified with Ardbeg that has been aged in Oloroso sherry barrels. Some of it for a large period of time, some of it dating from those 70s distillates, some of it younger, but all that heavily sherry style. Together you get with Ugadal the smokiness, of course, but the attenuated flavor profile is almost like the tobacco leaf. It's almost like reminiscent of smoking or a Cuban cigar. It's just kind of or almost like a Christmas cake or something. There's a lot of sort of fruity, tobacco leafy smokiness in that. Really delicious.
But Ugadal is a release that we'll find, that we've found for a while.
Yeah. And we intend to keep Ugadal going for as long as we can. The issue is always whether or not we can with the stocks we have. And obviously the issue is not the 10-year-old stock that's in there, it's the other stocks. We will continue to try and make it, but if Bill one day decides that he's tried to make it and it didn't come out right, and he can't make it good enough with the stock, sad to say, it will abruptly die. That's just how it is. You wouldn't want us to do anything else. Do you want it to die, or do you want a substandard version? I think for everyone would actually, it's a tough one to answer, but death is probably the best way. And you use your efforts to come out with the next great whiskey instead.
Well, there are enough Gaelic words out there to come up. When it comes to Alligator and Corvette, those are very different.
They are very different products, and of course we're looking for different flavor profiles. But with Corvette, we're talking about the same idea again, a base of that sort of Ardbeg 10-year-old style. Instead of Oloroso sherry casks, we're using a packet of Ardbeg that's been matured, wholly matured, in virgin French Limousin oak casks. And the tannins you're getting from those Limousin oak casks,
of the roof, I guess,
off the scale, absolutely. And something that's, I already said that we're not extra maturing at Ardbeg, because whilst we're the experts at doing that within the Glenmorangie company, it's not appropriate. We don't think it's appropriate at Ardbeg. Likewise, case in point here, French Limousin oak virgin Ardbeg, Corvette, it works fantastically. I've tried some samples of where we've experimented with that at Glenmorangie. Doesn't work.
How funny.
At all. So this really getting to understand the interaction of the wood and how it's appropriate to use it with our different spirits is a core theme at Glenmorangie. We're not dogmatic, apart from the one dogmatic thing, which is understand your spirit and how the cask interacts with it.
This has such a sweet nose.
Yeah.
It
has a sweet nose. But you're in for a shock.
Well, there's
you're in for a shock. But the shock you're in for, I think, is when you taste it. Not only the smoke, but with Corvette, you're getting this finish of a spiciness. Wow, it's a spicy on the finish.
This is amazing.
So we mentioned Ugadal means dark and mysterious place. It's the name of the loch where we get our water for Ardbeg. Well, Corrie Brecon also takes its name from somewhere geographic, I suppose, feature. Not bad, hey?
Oh, this is big.
Wow. So, and then moving into that, Corrie Brecon means cauldron of the speckled sea. And it's exactly, and it's the name of a whirlpool, a genuinely a naturally occurring whirlpool off the north coast of Islay and Jura. And we named it that partly for a bit of fun. It's fun to give these whiskies personalities, but because this is a spicy whiskey that drags you in. You know, you can't get out from its grasp.
Oh,
this sort of sense of a.
This is very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too much of it.
The spiciness here from the Limousin French oak, really giving. You know, I think Ardbeg 10-year-old is like a kind of smoky bacon note. Corrie Brecon, if you've ever, you know, when you stay in a hotel and you get your cooked breakfast and you get that little bottle of Tabasco sauce, you put that on your Canadian bacon or your bacon, your pieces of American bacon. It reminds me of that. It's like smoky bacon with Tabasco. There's a peppery spice on the finish.
You see, now that you say peppery, I know this is what I've been smelling. Oh,
it's Tabasco.
This is intense. You see, it's not just the smoke. It's not just those candy notes.
There's so much there.
The wood is screaming.
Yeah, there's almost like I
understand. 57.1.
Right up there, absolutely. I think there's almost a slightly herbal note there too. There's almost something like an Italian Amaro going on in the bite.
Something a bit.
It's rich but biting at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Something herbal like in bitters, but there's nothing bitter in it.
It's almost like a sort of fennel. Come on, something I can't quite get it. It's something like that going on. It's that's a little bite at the same time, very perfumed altogether. You know.
Don't tell me that you don't have 2, 3, 5, 25 barrels of Ardbeg vintage 1968, 1972. Or whatever.
You know, this is a very.
Will we see very soon?
This is a very easy question for me to answer, because that's such a top secret thing at the Glenmorangie Company that I'm not told it. Don't know.
And I thought you were the coolest guy.
All I can say is, if I find it, I'll be the first to plug the cask when no one's looking, when I'm next to the distillery.
What about independent bottlings? Is there anything like this for Ardbeg?
You know, Glenmorangie, you won't find it, because for the longest time we've had the company policy that we won't sell to blenders, we won't sell to independent bottlers, because we need to guarantee the quality of what's being bottled, and casks have so much influence that if you get a bad single cask, you could destroy the image of the company and really disillusion people. Ardbeg, because we bought it in '97, you will find the odd single cask out there. Okay. We're not selling casks to anyone anymore.
Since '97.
What happened in '97? We had a few contracts to fulfill as part of the purchase, and that was casks to blenders. And Ardbeg was going into a couple of blends, Teachers and Ballantines particularly, for a long time. That stopped completely now. So all Ardbeg that we are distilling as we speak, and it has been for a few years now, is being filled into Ardbeg for bottling as a future Ardbeg, which is good news for those of you that like Ardbeg.
But you're saying that Teachers, because Teachers
back
is
in the day
now here in the US,
who knows?
Teachers is getting more Lafroig maybe than...
They're not getting any Ardbeg anymore.
For those of you who would like to go and visit Ardbeg, you should.
Yes.
Because the ladies at Ardbeg will make sure that you visit.
Jackie in particular. Jackie's fantastic, and the Ardbeg Old Kiln Cafe, probably the best place to get lunch. Lovely. And if fantastic place, spiritual place. I mean, if you get to have a couple of days on Islay, a few things you've got to do. You have to visit Ardbeg, do the full tour. You've got to stand out on the pier, bully Jackie to let you do this. Just to get a little glass of Ardbeg 10, and walk out onto the old pier on a blustery day, and just spend a couple of minutes by yourself. Have a little glass there. The best moment ever. If you get a chance to travel to some of it doesn't have a distillery on Islay, go to the seat of the Lord of the Isles. There's a place back up on the island, a lochen that has the seat of the MacDonald clan, which actually on my mother's side I'm related to them somewhere. It's kind of a weird experience. First time I went there, to go out on this loch on the island of Islay. There's a little island, so you're on an island on a loch that's on an island. You walk out on this causeway, and there's still the old buildings, ruined buildings of the head of the clan, the Lord of the Isles, sort of palace. And one of the buildings is labelled as the sort of banqueting hall, which, being a relation, distant relation of the lords there, of the MacDonald clan, we had to stand there in amongst the weeds and the heather and the nettle bushes and think, well, this is where my great granddad, however many times removed, was drinking, cavorting and eating and making merry centuries ago. It was a pretty amazing experience.
You see, the brand ambassador series are not just tasting and talking about how it's made. It's the history part of it. We're getting quite nostalgic here.
Well, the now long gone Ardbeg bottling Lord of the Isles was a nod to that place, the Lord of the Isles. But definitely a good place to go, and I don't think that many whiskey aficionados that go to Islay go there.
But if you have time, go to Loch Renard. Also, of course, all of the other distilleries are wonderful, but Ardbeg and the oysters of Renard,
absolutely.
Amazing.
I have to admit, the very best. I mean, I love oysters. I try and eat them wherever I go around the world.
Same here.
And I may be biased because I am from Scotland, but I really don't think it's that. But the best single oyster, I actually have one oyster that sticks in my mind. The first oyster I ever had on Islay is the best oyster I've ever had in my life.
Those oysters were wonderful.
And the weird thing was, I was going there out of season, and that was a farmed oyster, and it was still the best oyster I've ever had in my life.
After single barrel, after single malt, you've got the single oysters.
Absolutely. But Ardbeg and oysters, you've died and gone to Islay.
I think so. Well, Slàinte
mhath, absolutely.
May you all go to Islay.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, David.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.